Welcome, RedArmy TV. Dave is away this week. He's on business or on his way back from business in London. And poor Matt Bland, he's got the snivels. So joining myself today, I've got Bob Tait, who is from Middlesbrough Football Club. We'll come to you very shortly. And we've got Courtney Hussain, who is just a big Borough fan. Thanks for joining us on today's couch. We're going to start straight. We're going to go straight into Norwich.
Yeah.
Game of two halves. We started off really well. We cancelled out a lot of their chances. How do we go from being sort of fairly evenly matched to obviously being down to 10 men in 28 minutes? But how do we fare for the rest of the game? Bob, we'll come to you first.
I think whenever you're down to 10 men, your back's against the wall, isn't it? And we had to play with probably arguably the most informed guy at the club at the moment, through the centre, out of his natural position, and try. And I mean, Norwich have been in a team in form, if you look at their form coming in the game as well. So the opportunity, when you go down to 10 minutes, they come few and far between, so you try your best, don't you?
You do, Courtney? You've got to...
I just think, same really, 10 men it's going to be hard for any team, never mind when you've got no striker on the pitch.
Yeah, because going into the game, you know, the last 3 away games, it was 3 on the bounce. We played very well at QPR. I don't know if anybody knows, but I went to QPR, and it was fantastic. It was a fantastic away day. But you know, we went from playing so well away from home, Ayala scoring, you know, not 1, not 2, but 3 goals, to very quickly being on the back leg at Norwich. And luckily now the red card has been rescinded. But if it hadn't, it could have been a very, very difficult period for Middlesbrough going into the next 3 or 4 games with only 2 arguably recognised strikers. If that was the case, what would we have done as a team? And
probably kept it the same, but had Hussain up front on his own. They're both target men the same, so it wouldn't be much different, just Hussain a little bit smaller.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of attacking options slightly behind the strikers now. So yeah, you play Brit up front. And
are we going through a bit of a... I know Tony's come out recently and said that Brit needs to sort of come and join the party. Is it just a matter of time before he finds his scoring boots and he starts to show us what, you know, the form at the start of the season was there, and he scored 12 goals. Is it just a matter of time before he rediscovers that, or has he been knocked by the change of tactics through the change of manager? Or
I think that's the same for all the strikers though, to be fair. I think it's bound to happen that they're all going, not just the strikers, everyone's going to end up scoring. We're in that patch at the minute where no one is, but eventually we're going to end up winning games 3-4-0.
I think someone who's proven like Brit is in the Championship, I don't think any player in their career goes through a full season just fully going for it all the time and scoring week in, week out. That everyone has dry spells, and he's proven he'll be back, no problem.
Well, that's it. But does it not? Would it not add more pressure to Brit at the minute, knowing that obviously Martin Braithwaite has left the club till the end of the season, at least on loan for this time, but obviously with Paddy not scoring many and Rudy struggling, I think, to try and discover some sort of form. He obviously scored against Sunderland in the Cup a few weeks ago, but I think other than, you know, is it too much pressure on Brit as being the only one that scored more than 1 goal?
I don't think it's on Brit, I think it's on everyone, the pressure, just to start scoring, to be honest. Because
Ayala's obviously scored a few, and up until, I think, the beginning of January, I think he'd scored more goals in a limited number of games than Harry Kane, Neymar and Messi combined.
Oh, well, there you go, just play him up front.
You know, straight away.
Great start, Phil. Great start, yeah. So just pull that one out of the sky.
Yeah. You know, Rudy's sending off. Obviously, we know it's been rescinded. Was it sending off? Wasn't it sending off? Was there any need to make that sort of challenge on the halfway line from a player like Rudy, who's a striker? You know, a lot of people have given him a lot of flack for that, and sort of said there was no need to make the challenge. He wasn't taking one necessarily for the team. But you know, what's your opinion, Bob? What's yours on?
I'm quite old school. I think it was, you know, if anything, he won the ball. I mean, when I used to play many years ago, I used to have put in a good challenge, I'd say. I think I'd be getting a red card every week. But there we go. I think, yeah, it's one of those, isn't it, where we've been arguing about it all week in the office, and I don't think it's, you know, that much of an issue.
I think we would have the same argument though if he didn't make the challenge, and we'd be all up in arms saying, why didn't he put tackle in there on the halfway line? We could have been through. So I think, yeah, just one of them really.
And that's the beauty of football, isn't it? It's all talking points. Everyone has a different opinion.
Yeah, that's it. I know I do the RedArmy social on a Monday, and a lot of the comments coming in was virtually echoing what you've just said there, in terms of one person's going to have one opinion, the other person's going to have another opinion, but ultimately person that made the challenge has the ultimate say, obviously, because they made the challenge, but it was the thought process that they were going through. But, you know, looking towards the rest of the game, when they scored, who was it that scored? I've got it written down somewhere. Yeah, Tom Tribal in the 44th minute. So that was a bit of a sucker punch that we conceded just before half-time. When we concede so late on in a half, do we struggle as a team to come back from that? Or, you know, is there, because when we start a game for the first 10 minutes, we seem to be on top of everything. And then we very quickly we fade out a little bit towards the end of that half. We then come back in. But to concede when you're down to 10 men with seconds to go before the half-time whistle blows, is that something when you come out second half, do you come out thinking?
We weren't that bad though, were we? Obviously we didn't score, but I mean, even going down to 10 men, from the highlights I've seen and from people talking on Monday, we weren't that bad, we just couldn't score. Right, Bob?
I think any team that goes down to 10 men and then concedes a goal just before half time, no matter who you are as a group of professionals, it's going to take a bit of lifting to get you to not knock you.
Battle, isn't it?
You know, but and I think, to be fair, they came out second half and there wasn't a massive hangover from it. They were doing what they could do with the 10 men.
I think it's the fans more than anyone thinking, like, from what everyone talking, it sounded like the game was terrible, but watching the highlights, we had shots, we just didn't score.
Well, that was it. I think the sucker punch for us before we conceded the goal was we looked really well, you know, as a defensive unit. But just before they took that shot, there was some very nice passing on the edge of the box, and you know, it was another one where we didn't press, and because we failed to press, the player goes between the two midfielders and shoots. Was it unlucky that Randolph didn't, you know, he got his hand to it, but was it unlucky that he just didn't get enough on it to put it around the side, Bob?
I mean, I didn't go to the game. I've got a 1-year-old daughter, and working in football, you tend to work all hours God sends anyway, so away games I try and avoid. The last one I went to was, as a fan, was Hull City last season. The less said about that probably the better, because I think that's where I finally thought, oh yeah, we're not, you know. But with regards to that, I think I was listening on BBC Tees, and it's one of those where you could sense from the commentary that they were starting to, you know, put a lot of passes together, come into the game more and put a lot of pressure on us. And I don't think it was a matter of time, but you could tell that if leading up to half-time, if someone was going to score, it was probably going to be Norwich from the commentary I was hearing. And,
fair enough. Well, we're going to take a very, very quick break because we're going to catch up with Mark Shalliker with our social media.
Thanks, Phil. Craig Hatton says, Assombalonga, what an excuse for a man and footballer. Rugi Stead says, delighted we won the appeal. Thank you to all those who supported me. Love will always win out. We're all on the same team, fighting for the same dream, up the butter. Alan Allison says, did I hear that right? I don't believe it. The FA sided with the butter. That's to be a first, certainly, in my lifetime, and wonders will never cease. Ann Thompson says, welcome home, Curtis, up the butter. And last but not least, Stuart Gardner says, hopefully Curtis will bring some passion back to the club.
Thanks a lot, Mark. We could probably both get used to this presenting malarkey at some point. Guys on the couch, we've probably got time for one question. So that one question I'm going to put to you is, how do we get the best out of the players we've got now? Transfer is gone. We've got a new manager who's bedding in well. From now to the end of the season, Bob, how do we get the best out of the players?
It's outside of my remit, but I think we've got the right man in place to make the experience and wisdom he has. And having met Tony, I have every faith that he's going to get the best out of that squad.
Courtney?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's probably one of the best man management we've had. We can see that through Traore, Downing, suppose Ayala, you could even say as well.
Okay. Well, while everybody else is going to go off and make a brew, I think we'll do the same thing, and we're going to go make some money. And we'll catch you guys after this short break. Welcome back to Red Army TV. As you can see, Dave and Matt are both away this week, and still with me on the couch, I've got Bob Tait and I've got Courtney Hussain here. So jumping straight back into to where we left off, we'll leave Norwich behind us now. All said and done, okay. But looking forward, there was news came out during the week that Borough old favourite Curtis Fleming has returned to the club. He has taken over, or he's taken responsibility for first team training. Bob, is that a good appointment for the Borough?
Well, I think if you look back at Curtis's association with the club, if he brings half of what he brought when he was a player, I think it'll turn out to be a good appointment. Yeah, definitely.
Courtney?
I think it is, but what's happened to Woodgate? Do we have two first team coaches now, or?
Well, I think the way we see it is that there's two first team coaches. I know Tony was very impressed with Woodgate, who obviously helped out Steve Agnew towards the end of last sort of season, and along with Gary Monk at the start of this season. But obviously he's well known at the club. Obviously he played, and over the last few years he's done really well with, I say really well, he was with Hartlepool with Craig Hignett, and he's very recently been at QPR. And I think one of the interesting things he said before he came was he wouldn't have left the club to go to any other club but Middlesbrough. He wouldn't have left QPR for any other club. And I think that speaks volumes of not just the club itself, but obviously his working relationship with the management, with Steve Gibson and everybody else. So that can only be a wonderfully brilliant, hopefully, fingers crossed. And hopefully we get to see, you know, a better attacking side, a better across the park really, over the next sort of 2 or 3 months that we've got left of the season, I guess.
Absolutely.
Now, Bob, you are the head of digital and marketing development for Middlesbrough Football Club.
That's correct.
What on earth does that mean?
It means I head up a small department that looks after any digital initiatives, so things like websites, CRM systems, digital initiatives, and then marketing development. That bit of it is how we can market the club in a much more fan-focused way, to actually not bombard everyone with stuff they don't care about, to give people information, offers, promotions that are actually relevant to them. Came in October 2016, having been at the club previously in 2014 for a 6-month contract, and then came back October 2016, and that the first big project we did there was moving the website, getting control back of our digital assets, because before that it was on a platform with I think 89 other clubs. Right. Very limited what we could do as a club, very limited about how we could get content out to fans, etc. And that was a big process, and that launched in June last year. And since then we've been evolving it ever since.
Well, that's it. Surely it would be more beneficial to the clubs to have control of their own, with how big social media especially has grown over the recent years.
Oh,
it would make more sense for clubs to own and be able to, because I know I have about 8 different feeds that I use, but I can never keep control of them myself, and I know going on to the boroughs previously has been a bit of a nightmare. But it does, the website looks great.
Thank you.
Certainly is user friendly now, because I know I used to come up with gateway errors and all sorts previously. So
yeah, I mean it wasn't responsive. It didn't work across mobile devices. So I come from a usability background in digital, so you know things don't happen overnight. but it's very much a case of, you know, let's go slowly and let's get things right and move and make, you know, constant improvement. As long as we're making constant improvement in digital, I'm happy about that. We're not going to, you know, change the world overnight, but it's all about constant improvement and little iterations.
So, talk us through this new, the MFC digital account that you're
Yeah,
trying to launch at the
I mean,
minute.
going back to the usability piece, if on Monday, Borough fan, coming to mfc.co.uk, we've made exclusive video content free. However, you have to have an mfc.co.uk account to watch it.
Just recently signed up for.
Yeah. Previously, you used to have to pay for that behind Borough Plus. So you did that. You would need an account to do that. You go to e-ticketing to buy tickets online. You would need a different account to do that. Yeah. You'd forget what email you had in your e-ticketing account. You'd log in with a different one. You wouldn't. You'd be trying to get away tickets. You know you wouldn't have the right permissions because you know you'd try to sign in with your MFC account or you'd put an old email address in. So what we're doing, we've brought in MFC digital account, which basically it's a gateway that sits in front of all digital properties. So that's the MFC official direct online, the e-ticketing site mfc.co.uk, and then live audio through the app and also on mfc.co.uk. It sits in front of that, and you need one single account. And once you've logged in on that device, you can browse between the various different digital properties that the borough has, and you don't have to log in with a different account. And you do it once, and that's it.
Well, that's it. That's great because I know in the past I've tried buying things with one email address and trying to go with tickets to the same one, and it's telling me it's the wrong one, and then you end up ringing the club, and the club don't really have a clue what's going on because you're not explaining it.
Absolutely.
Then you end up having to go down and
the wrong password, and then you forget your password. It's not my email.
Because it can't just be me. I have like one password that covers everything, but a lot of people that
don't say that on live
adults
TV,
that are new to the social media and the technology side will have multiple passwords because they know really what they're doing, and we're just
absolutely.
That don't.
And you know, I might have signed up for e-ticketing for the borough when I was at university, and have an old university 10 years down the line, which of course has been unused now. Yeah, and you're like, you forget that you're trying to sign, you know. So what this is doing, it's that gateway. It's one off. So once you've done it on a device, it'll work across all different properties, websites. If you then go onto a different device, you'll have to do it again because it's recognising, you know, log in once, but it works across. But I mean, we're encouraging all fans to basically do the process, which is a one-off process, to actually sign up for an MFC digital account. Key things, we're not asking for anything we don't already know about you. If you've already got a ticketing account, an mfc.co.uk account, or what have you, you've already given us the same information. In fact, you can give us less now. And then but it's just a process, and in most cases it'll take less than 5 minutes to do. There's a complication involved with linking your ticketing account, but the process should take you through that. And then live audio subscribers, which, you know, we have to charge for live audio because it's part of the license with the EFL. I come from a background where content should ideally be free to the end user, and you look to monetize it in other ways. But you have to pay for it through to the EFL license. And so now, you know, you can just log in, do what you need to do. One time you have to set the account up, and I just urge everyone to do it, and I would urge them to do it now as opposed to when they need to undertake a transaction. Because if I do it now, away tickets go on sale, I want to be in the queue to get some away tickets online. If I've then got to set up an account, you know, I'm like, oh hell, you know. Yeah. To do it now, if I've got a live audio subscription, set up the account. We've emailed every live audio subscriber today with a code, a unique one-off code, that once they've set up an MFC digital account, they can use this code, and that will give them access that they've paid for until the end of the season. but this code just works with a new account. Do that now. Don't wait until 5 to 3 on Saturday, because you might encounter a problem.
So essentially, then it's a new login system that will override all the others that you've
absolutely.
Got. It's a long-winded process of explanation, but it's easy enough.
I tend to get long-winded when I talk about digital stuff, so
brilliant.
I apologise for that. But yeah,
no,
that's exactly, you hit the nail on the head.
Don't you worry at all, guys. Predictions for Reading at the weekend. Bob, what are you?
3-1 Borough.
3-1 Borough.
Yeah.
Okay, Courtney.
3-0, I reckon.
3-0.
Borough, obviously.
Fair enough. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We've got positions and whatnot on our coach to Sunderland, which is the 24th of February. There are still places available on that coach, so please do get in touch. You can go online at redarmy.tv, or you can give us a call 01642 688 987. You can catch myself and Mark on Red Army Social on a Monday night, 7 to 8 PM, only on Facebook Live. But other than that, I think that's enough from us, and hopefully Dave will catch us next week right here, Red Army TV.